Now, mate, just because you lost.
You know what? You know what he's lost? You know what he's lost?
Pep Guardiola was the untouchable mastermind of modern football, the architect who transformed Barcelona into poets, molded Bayern into precision instruments, and crafted Manchester City into an unstoppable dynasty. But now, he's committing amateur mistakes that would make weekend warriors cringe. The tactical wizard who changed football forever has become its most shocking catastrophe. £250 million on 6 fresh faces, and somehow the disaster has only intensified. So what happened? How did football's greatest tactician transform into its most stunning failure? This is the untold story of Pep Guardiola's desperate fight to reclaim his throne.
Yeah, after winning 80 titles, I would change my plan, yeah, I'm pretty sure. After winning 4 Premier Leagues in a row, I'm going to change the way I believe the football my team is going to play. Never ever will change my beliefs in the way we're going to play.
To grasp the magnitude of Pep Guardiola's current downfall, we must revisit the origins of his greatness, back when a promising youngster captured the attention of football's most groundbreaking visionary. Barcelona, 1990. Johan Cruyff was assembling his legendary dream team, and hidden within their midfield ranks was a skinny teenager called Josep Guardiola. He lacked explosive pace and overwhelming strength, but possessed something far more valuable, a tactical mind that could anticipate the game's flow several steps in advance. Under Cruyff's mentorship, Pep discovered that football transcended mere victory. It was about the artistry of how you achieve that victory. When he retired his boots in 2001, Guardiola had experienced it all. European Cup triumph, 4 consecutive La Liga championships, wearing the captain's armband at the world's most prestigious club. But stepping away from the game, that was never part of his blueprint. 2008 arrived with Barcelona drowning in mediocrity, trophy-less and lacking direction. The board took an unprecedented gamble that would reshape football history. They entrusted their former midfield general with complete control. What unfolded next was nothing short of miraculous. Guardiola's debut campaign didn't merely deliver a treble, it revolutionized the beautiful game itself. Tiki-taka transformed into pure poetry. Lionel Messi metamorphosed from talented prospect to unstoppable phenomenon. Across 4 seasons, they captured 14 major honors and elevated football to an art form. Bayern Munich beckoned in 2013. 3 consecutive Bundesliga crowns followed. Then came Manchester City in 2016, where Pep would construct his ultimate masterpiece. The Centurion season, the historic treble, 6 Premier League victories in 7 campaigns. He elevated Manchester City from ambitious underdogs to English football's most fearsome dynasty. By 2023, he wasn't merely a coach. He had ascended to football divinity. Yet history reminds us that even gods are mortal, and when they tumble, the destruction is always catastrophic. What no one anticipated was just how catastrophic Pep Guardiola's descent would become. September 22nd, 2024, the Emirates Stadium. The fixture everyone recalls for Haaland's explosive temper and his clash with Gabriel Jesus. What gets forgotten is that this marked the first occasion you could detect panic in Pep's expression. His squad was barely surviving. 7 days later, disaster struck. Rodri, City's heartbeat, the man Pep had declared irreplaceable, collapsed with a torn ACL. His season was finished, and with his absence vanished the final component of Pep's meticulously crafted masterpiece. But here's the reality. Losing Rodri shouldn't have shattered them. This was Pep Guardiola, the visionary who molded Sergio Busquets into an icon, who orchestrated the brilliance of Xavi and Iniesta. He would discover a solution he always had before. October 30th, 2024, North London, Carabao Cup 4th round. An insignificant fixture, supposedly. City fell 2-1, and Pep appeared almost contemplative. I despise losing, but I appreciate observing our response. The bravery, the unity, I still find it appealing. Unknown to everyone, this marked the first day of the catastrophe. What followed shattered every precedent in Pep Guardiola's managerial journey. Bournemouth at the Etihad, defeated. Sporting Lisbon in Europe, defeated. Brighton on the South Coast, defeated. Tottenham back home, defeated once more. 5 matches, 5 losses. The manager who had never endured more than 3 consecutive defeats watched his kingdom collapse before his eyes. Yet the nightmare was far from over. December 3rd, 2024. Feyenoord at the Etihad. Champions League football. City were coasting at 3-0, and for 75 minutes, it seemed the torment might finally cease. Then Feyenoord found the net, and again, and once more. 3-3. The cameras captured everything. Pep Guardiola, the tactical prophet who had dominated Europe, literally clawing at his scalp until it bled. His expression was pure anguish. For the first time across 942 managerial games, his team had failed to secure victory after establishing a 3-goal advantage. The media briefings became excruciating to witness. "We have 13 fit players," Pep repeatedly stated. "We face genuine hardship." This from the perfectionist who previously claimed he'd rather operate with just 11 players all campaign. The same individual who had released Julian Alvarez because he desired a more compact squad. By January 2025, the truth was inescapable. Liverpool and Arsenal were surging clear at the summit. Manchester City, the 4-time reigning champions, were eliminated from title contention before the new year. The Golden Quintet, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi, and Pep had dominated the globe at Barcelona. At City, he believed he'd constructed something superior. But now, observing Rodri's understudy fumble elementary passes, one reality became unmistakable. Pep Guardiola had finally encountered his equal, and it wasn't another tactician, another club, or another philosophy. It was time itself. Summer 2025. Following the most devastating campaign in Pep Guardiola's managerial history. Third position in the Premier League, FA Cup final heartbreak against Crystal Palace, Champions League elimination. The remedy appeared straightforward. Invest heavily. Tijani Reinders, Ryan Ait-Nouri, James Trafford, Ryan Cherki, half a dozen fresh faces, £250 million invested. The storyline was flawless. Pep Guardiola, the tactical genius, reconstructing his dynasty with new talent and revitalized ambition. "This squad will serve us for years to come," Pep proclaimed with conviction. The manager who previously favored minimal squads suddenly found himself overwhelmed with options. Massive. Too many bodies, he confessed following their opening day destruction of Wolves. Squad numbers are unhealthy. August 16th, 2025, Molineux Stadium, season opener. Haaland netted a brace, the newcomers dazzled, and City demolished their opponents 4-0. For 90 minutes, it resembled the glory days. Like the horror had concluded, the press embraced it, the supporters embraced it. Even Pep appeared convinced. Rodri was progressing through rehabilitation, looking sharp. Phil Foden had recovered his fitness. The puzzle was reassembling itself, yet football has a cruel way of shattering fantasies. August 23rd, 2025, the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City hosting Tottenham Hotspur, the genuine examination of Pep's reconstructed empire. 2-0 defeat at their fortress. Before their faithful, James Trafford, the new shot stopper, handed Spurs their second goal with a blunder that would have mortified an amateur goalkeeper. The defense appeared bewildered. The midfield was overwhelmed. Suddenly, all those expensive additions resembled tourists wearing City jerseys. Within 90 minutes, the fantasy crumbled. The reconstruction wasn't renewal. It was cosmetic surgery on a corpse. Pep's post-match analysis was revealing. "Our display exceeded the scoreline, but we're awaiting the players to gel. Still hoping, still trusting, still convinced that additional time, more preparation, further tactical adjustments could repair what was fundamentally fractured." The reality was becoming impossible to ignore. This transcended personnel issues. This wasn't about injuries or misfortune or officiating controversies. This was about Pep Guardiola himself. August 31st, 2025, Brighton and Hove Albion, the Amex Stadium. If a single moment encapsulated Pep Guardiola's complete mental disintegration, this was it. For 60 minutes, Manchester City controlled proceedings. Erling Haaland celebrated his 100th Premier League appearance with a strike. The fresh recruits appeared comfortable. Rodri, making his first league appearance since that devastating ACL rupture almost 12 months prior, was orchestrating play like the old days. Then came the 67th minute. James Milner, nearly 40 years old, a former City stalwart who hadn't found the net since 2019, approached the penalty spot against his former employers. He converted it. Low corner, zero hesitation. What unfolded next was absolute pandemonium. Brighton, galvanized by their quadruple substitution, overwhelmed City's backline like a swarm. Pep's Warriors, so dominant mere moments before, suddenly resembled complete strangers. 89th minute, Brajan Gruda, a replacement most had never encountered, burst through and coolly slotted past James Trafford. 2-1 Brighton. Match finished. Yet it transcended the result. It was the manner of collapse. City didn't simply lose, they forgot the fundamentals of football. "We surrender a goal and afterward we cease playing." Pep confessed later, "You must never, ever stop playing. The post-match discussions revealed everything. Rodri, the returning champion, was brutally candid. Some errors we're making are schoolboy mistakes. We haven't been at the required standard for an extended period. This is our current reality. 2 defeats in 3 fixtures. Already, the nightmare hadn't concluded, it had metamorphosed. The blueprint was undeniable now. Take the lead early, appear comfortable, then implode the instant the opposition displayed any fighting spirit. This wasn't misfortune or poor officiating or isolated mistakes. This was systematic breakdown. This was Pep Guardiola, the most brilliant tactical brain of his era, witnessing his legacy crumble in real time. And the most devastating part? An entire campaign still lay ahead. These were no longer tactical concerns. They had become questions of existence itself. Away from the spotlight, Pep Guardiola's universe was disintegrating in ways that transcended football. Following 3 decades as partners, his bond with Cristina Serra had dissolved. The woman who had anchored him through Barcelona's golden period, Bayern's supremacy, and City's triumphant years was no longer there. Sources indicated the separation occurred after Pep prolonged his Manchester tenure, supposedly violating a commitment that this would be his final campaign. Whether factual or tabloid speculation, the timing was catastrophic. As his career imploded, his personal stability crumbled simultaneously, yet the relationship breakdown was merely one cloud darkening the Etihad atmosphere. The 115 allegations, Manchester City's continuing legal confrontation with the Premier League regarding supposed financial violations, hung overhead like an executioner's blade. Pep and the organization had rejected all accusations from the beginning, but the speculation was intensifying. Points penalties ranging from 60 to 100. Possible demotion not merely from the Premier League, but into England's lower divisions. The perfectionist who had constructed his reputation on flawlessness watched it endangered by circumstances entirely outside his influence. Pep's agreement extends until 2027, but rumors suggest he might not survive this campaign. The boardroom that once supported him unconditionally is raising difficult questions. The supporters who idolized him are beginning to waver. Is this how legends perish? Not in triumph, but through the gradual, painful recognition that time defeats everyone? Or can football's greatest manager orchestrate one last resurrection? The answer awaits us. Because Pep Guardiola's torment isn't finished. It's barely started. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you enjoyed this ruthless analysis of football's most shocking stories, hit subscribe and activate those notifications. Believe me, with how this season is unfolding, there will be countless more disasters to dissect. Until our next encounter, this has been your comprehensive exploration into the madness of contemporary football.